Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host, Tom Downey, once again rocking a Kashiyama suit. Let's dive right in because I'm sure you've heard by now, Tyrone Crawford has been placed on IR. He needs season-ending hip surgery, and I think this might be the end of Tyrone Crawford's time with the Dallas Cowboys. Next year, in 2020, he carries a $9.1 million salary. That is his cap hit. Problem is, at least for Crawford, he only has $1.1 million in dead money. What that means is, if you cut Tyrone Crawford, you save $8 million in cap space next year. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Cowboys to say, Tyrone, we love you. You were a great leader, but the money just doesn't work out. It's time to move on. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Is this the end of Crawford's time in Dallas and with the Cowboys? Has he played his last snap? Type Y for yes, type N for no. When we do our potential cap cuts video later on this season, in the offseason, of course, he's going to be very high on that list. I see lots of yeses from Adam and RGV and Troy and Gary. I think the answer is yes on that one. All right, now to replace Tyrone Crawford on the active roster, Justin Hamilton has been signed. Now, if your first reaction was, who the hell is Justin Hamilton? Like associate producer Brett and Alicia raised her hand, so I'm going to point out Alicia too. You are not alone. That, I think, was a very common answer or response there. 6'2", 315, spent some time with the Chiefs last year, did not make the roster. Funny enough, the guy who made it over him, Joey Ivy, a.k.a. the former 7th-round pick by the Cowboys. Oh, how things are a small world after all. He brings a little bit more beef on the interior, which I think is needed. Antoine Woods coming back from his own injury right there. The run defense has not been that effective. Christian Covington I like, but he's more of a penetrator, less of a run clogger, if that differentiation makes sense. And I would not anticipate Justin Hamilton being active this week. I still think Trysten Hill makes more sense. Of course, there's going to be some juggling on this roster with all the injuries, which we will get to later on in the show. Now, as you see there below me on the screen, we got a little subscriber shout-out going on right now. Like Tyree, we had Blake on there. So if you want a shot to get a subscriber shout-out, make sure you are subscribed. We'll loop through a bunch of these throughout the show. Links right there, youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. I know most of you watching right this second might be subscribed, but we know that about 66%, two-thirds, watch the show, but they aren't actually subscribed. So if you want a shout out, well, make sure you're subscribed. YouTube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. Let's talk about Jason Garrett. And this is where I start to get mad, so I'm just going to take a deep breath. Jerry Jones claims that Jason Garrett would be highly sought after if the Cowboys were to let him leave. Now, yes, at some level, this is just owner speak. What's Jason Garrett what's Jerry Jones going to say about Garrett? Tell you what, nobody wants him. We're the only ones. And I think Jones does believe this because otherwise he would have fired Garrett. At least he believes it a little bit. But he also knows this isn't fully the case. Here's the exact quote from Jerry, right? I want to talk about our team, talk about our coach. This was on one of the fan recently. We have a lot invested in Garrett. That's very true. He's had a lot of years that he's been a part of the Dallas Cowboys. And he's evolved into what I think is a top coach. He would be a very sought-after coach if he were out there on the open market. Now, look, I don't think Jason Garrett is a top 5 coach. I don't think anyone thinks that. I don't even think Jerry Jones believes that. But is he the worst head coach in the NFL? The answer is no, he's not. So there would be, at some level, even just for OC jobs, interest in Jason Garrett. The problem is, if Jerry Jones really thought Jason Garrett was a top-tier head coach, why hasn't he been extended? If that were the case, someone would have hired him already. Or he would have extended him already. That has not been the case there. Now, I know a lot of the buzz about Garrett, I saw it in the comments before we even started this live show today, is blaming Garrett for the offense regression. Because first 3 games, oh man, they were cooking, and now... So do you blame Jason Garrett for the regression on offense? If you do, type 1 for yes. If you don't, get 2 there in the comment section. Jason Garrett undoubtedly shares some of this blame. Now, I don't think he shares the entirety of the blame. We'll dive into some examples here and where things have gone wrong in just a second. But there is at least some blame to be assigned for Jason Garrett. he's the head coach. That's how the entire thing works for the Dallas Cowboys. Today's show brought to you by Kashiyama. Go check out Kashiyama. It's Kashiyama1927.com. They're right here in Dallas, literally right down the hall from us here at Chat Sports. Get yourself a custom-fitted suit. Any respectable man out there should have themselves a nice suit. Why not get one custom-fitted? It's Kashiyama1927.com. Go check them out, Kashiyama1927.com. These prices start at the same prices that the other major chains have instead. So it's Kashiyama1927.com. Go check them out. All right, let me get mad here because I have to do it, and I am going to kind of apologize for it, but also not because I'm right. All right, now, the Cowboys' main site says the Dallas Cowboys should start Xavier Su'a-Filo, which we've heard this narrative before. That, Xavier Su'a-Filo, he's better than Connor Williams. And the main arguments here were were about how he's better in the middle, he's stronger in the middle, he's a better run blocker, and most importantly, the Cowboys won more games because apparently offensive guard wins is now a stat, which doesn't make any sense at all. Now, this, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, is a classic example of making a change just to make a change. So let's look at the numbers here. Now, you can take my word that Connor Williams is better than Xavier Su'a-Filo. Maybe you don't. That's fine. I understand. You want to make your own decisions. I get that. Here are the numbers between Xavier Su'a-Filo and Connor Williams. Now, this is basically all these metrics balanced out by snaps because Sia was played almost double the pass protection reps. In this case, you want the higher number. Higher's better here. Xavier Su'a-Filo allowed a sack with the Dallas Cowboys about every 49 snaps, i.e., at least one per game. Connor Williams is 3x better at 150.8. That is substantially better. But as I've said before, sacks can be a bit deceiving here. So let's look at snaps. Su'a-Filo actually a little bit better in hurries. Snaps per quarterback hit. Okay, that's pretty close. Snaps per pressure. It's Connor Williams. He has a better overall pass blocking grades and everything than Xavier Su'a-Filo. And by the way, this includes last year. Connor Williams has been a better player this year. That's what that PFF run grade is. Now, I don't have magical stats here to bring up for you guys on the run grade, but you can believe me in PFF or make your own decisions. That's fine. It's a free country. This is America. But if you want to be right, Connor Williams is a better player than Xavier Su'a-Filo. Now, more here on this Cowboys offense, because I remain frustrated by the entire issues that we've had so far this year. These were the things I wanted at the beginning of the year, and we saw it early on, the pre-snap motion, the play action, the crossing routes, spreading the defense out. We're still getting some of those things, but I want to focus in on the play action. Now, make no mistake, it's much easier to run play action when you are ahead or when it is early on in the game. But there's a very troubling trend here for the Dallas Cowboys. Week 1, almost 47% of their passes were play action. That was third in the NFL. Week 2, just below 40. That was fifth in the NFL. Week 3, okay, we've now dropped by almost 15%. That's kind of a concern. They're still top 8 in the NFL. Then the proverbial fecal matter hits the fan. The Saints, against the Saints, 20%, 20th in the NFL, and the trend continues down. Now, yes, the Packers and Jets games were big comeback efforts, but ever since that Week 4 game against the Saints, you've pointed it out plenty of times. The Cowboys' offense, it looks different. I know game script matters, but that does not account for the consistent decline. The Cowboys had an offense that wasn't broken. And what do you do if something's not broken? You don't fix it. The Cowboys said, we're going to fix it. And it's been a problem. Now, there are a lot of things wrong right now with this Cowboys offense. And Romo himself said this has Jason Garrett's fingerprints all over it. I think abandoning the play action, of course, Garrett's not calling the plays. That's still Kellen Moore. But make no mistake, Jason Garrett is actively involved in the meetings, in the overall game planning early on in the week. Kellen Moore can call the plays during the game, but if the game plan is, hey, we're going to run this group of plays, and that doesn't mean very much play action, he's kind of limited there. So I don't believe in this grand conspiracy theory that Jason Garrett has somehow, usurped power from Kellen Moore or actively made him worse. I think Jason Garrett's falling back on what he's done before, which was a problem, and Jason Garrett is maybe handcuffing Kellen Moore. He's not throwing him in jail, but the cuffs are on right now. But let me know what your biggest problem is, because for me, there are a lot of things going on right now. Play action, undoubtedly, or should I say the lack thereof it, is one of the biggest ones for me. Now, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 for a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. So if you were like me, and you bet on the Cowboys to win in Week 4, and Week 5, and Week 6, you still got plenty of extra money left over. It all bounces out because I won the first 3 weeks. Maybe they'll beat the Eagles. They are favored this week on BetDSI. Again, that is chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Cowboys120. Michael Irvin has a terrible idea for the Dallas Cowboys. He says they should add Antonio Brown. I know there are injuries at wide receiver. I know the offense is taking a step back the past 3 weeks. It's a bad idea, guys. I'm not touching Antonio Brown with a 10-foot pole. I do not want him anywhere near the Dallas Cowboys. I don't see what good can come of it. What's the best case scenario? The Cowboys... Oh, wait a minute. I see what you're doing, Michael. You are advocating to sign Antonio Brown so that the Cowboys collapse and Jason Garrett gets fired. That's 3D chess right there, Michael. Okay. I see what you're doing. It's not bad. Now, I don't think Michael's actually doing that, but that's funny for me. There are injuries at the receiver spot right now. Cooper's banged up. Cobb's banged up. Gallup is still there. Look, Antonio Brown, talented. I'm not going to argue against that. I don't want him on this team. I think it's a bad idea to bring in a clear problem child on this team. I don't think that makes sense. That is not what I would do if I were the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think it's a smart move. I'm not touching him at all. I don't think that is a good decision by the Cowboys. Frankly, it's one of the worst ideas I've heard around the Dallas Cowboys. So let's have some fun. What's the worst idea you can think of for the Dallas Cowboys? I'll get some in here. I'll give some shout-outs because I'm sure we'll get some good ones here. You can get super creative with it, or you can just be hanging fruit. Jason Garrett, lifetime contract. That's one that's easy, but that's not as much fun there. So what's your worst idea you can think of for the Dallas Cowboys? Antonio Brown, I think, is one of them. Blue Star says re-sign Garrett. Burns says it should be horrible in general. That's fine there. Seth says signing AB. There you go. David says trading the first-round pick. Okay. Troy says tanking in general. Kellen Moore is the head coach. Someone says bring back Terrell Owens. Okay, see, that's a good one. I like that one. I'll throw out one. Hiring Jimmy Johnson. It's not 1999 anymore. That doesn't make any sense. Speaking of not making sense, the Dallas Morning News. They came out with a column recently. The solution to the defensive answers, folks, has been lying in front of us the entire time. All you got to do is give Kris Richard the keys to the defense. It's that simple. Are you guys kidding me? Do you not watch the games? Do you not pay attention? Who's the defensive play caller and has been for well over a year? Well, it's Kris Richard. Look, I'm not arguing that Rod Marinelli doesn't have influence. He does. But the suggestion to give Kris Richard the defensive coordinator role has already happened. This is like suggesting the Cowboys should play Byron Jones at cornerback. Yes, they should do it. They already have. I don't understand how that got past the editors. He is the defensive play caller. You're not arguing to fire Marinelli. You said for him to focus on the defensive line. That's what we're doing. I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's such a cluster. Imagine paying for the Dallas Morning News for that type of analysis. Insane. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.